on, let me get a drink.
I'll be ready to go, and then you switched it.
Well, you know that first 10 that first 10 seconds. Hey, how you guys doing out here? James Humphrey with another episode of Real Talk with Real Men. I got my co-host with me, Kyle Stanley.
Hey.
Ready to do it with the topic of education.
Education.
Kyle.
All right.
Favorite class in school?
Favorite class?
Favorite class.
I would say favorite class was gym.
Gym?
Yeah. I love being active more than anything.
Okay.
But math was a strong suit if
Math?
I want to go in academic.
Okay. Favorite class for me? Probably the electives. It wasn't so much as gym. I did a class called Radio TV Broadcasting, which actually taught me most of this stuff that I learned.
I see the application.
But then I was managing editor of my yearbook.
Okay.
So
Dope.
For me, it wasn't so much as activities. I did, or I would say physical activities. I did more like, activities like that. Like I was part of the chess team and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that would probably be my favorite class.
Okay.
Worst class.
Worst class. Worst class, I would have to say would be a toss-up between. I took chemistry.
Okay.
I took chemistry.
I did really good in chemistry.
And I took a calculus class. Those were the worst two classes I've ever taken in my life. A calculus class, Calculus 1, and a chemistry class. And I had a teacher with an accent for the chemistry class, so hearing the explanation
you take I, and then you take Z, and then you
formulas and things like that with an accent, I couldn't grasp it and get that. At the same time, my calculus teacher was one of those, hey, I'm going to show you right now. If you need help, ask your neighbor. And we're going to keep the rest of the class going type of people. And I had questions, but everybody else is trying to stay on task type situation. So I'm like, well, damn, I don't have a good opportunity to ask these questions. I didn't do good in that class.
Okay.
And that was a math class. Only math class I ever did bad in. But yeah, math.
Relatively math and English were bad for me. But I took a pre-calculus class. Not even the calculus class. That was horrible.
Okay.
God awful.
Did great in pre-calc. Got to fucking calculus and passed with a C, bro. I was like, God damn,
and I did really well in all my science classes. Like
science was cool.
I took biology, I took chemistry, and I took physical science.
Yeah.
But it was a math class.
Take anatomy?
Did not take anatomy. For whatever reason, our school didn't have anatomy.
Yeah, I'm glad I switched to Johnson County school districts because of the education restruction. But
Wyandotte County wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I've heard the stories. All my homies still went to school in Wyandotte and shit.
Oh, man.
I tell them what I'm learning in different classes that I have available, and they like, bro, we don't even do all that shit. I still don't understand the fucking half-day Wednesday shit, but whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm grateful that
teachers
I made
in
the switch.
or some shit like that.
In service, but what is that for? What is this? What is the benefit of the half day on Wednesday for Wyandotte County School?
This is true.
Who is that serving?
And then
I never got the answer on
it's
that.
only for Wyandotte County schools, right? Or District 500 or whatever the fuck?
I've never heard any other school district practicing it. So
that is crazy.
Yeah,
I look forward to half day Wednesdays.
You know what I'm saying? So that was just fishy to me. But go ahead.
Going into the Real Talk, Real Men, what do we have for education? For me personally, education obviously does not stop after high school. It does not even stop after college. If you don't continue to educate yourself, even just on the norm of what you're doing normally in your day-to-day business,
even routine,
then you most definitely will lose something.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Lose a step.
I guess the study is that every 3 to 6 months. There is some sort of new either technology or new information or something like that, either when it pertains to your job or your career.
Okay.
So you actually have to stay up to date with the things that you're doing.
3 to 6 months?
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. So you got to think, how often does doctors go to the conventions and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
True.
To keep up with their surgeries and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So just
You would
knowing
hope.
just knowing that in film, like I try to keep up with the latest cameras and the latest technologies, editing and stuff like that, just to stay up to date with just the stuff
What's
that I'm
out
doing,
there.
what's with the camera and shit. You know
What's
what I mean?
out there, yeah.
So most definitely, education does not stop after you get out of high school or even college. And then my biggest, I guess, suggestion to people, something I learned just here in the last year,
Yes.
is to always read anything at least an hour a day, 30 minutes to an hour a day. It doesn't have to be about what you're doing particularly in your field.
Yes.
You would prefer that it's something in particular in your field,
but just get some.
but
reading
just get
in.
some sort of reading, some sort of new
I
information
can
in
agree
there
with that.
on a day-to-day basis. And then I listen to audiobooks and stuff like that. So
Yes.
I'm still working, doing Lyft, and still listening
Yes.
to shit. You get on the ride home or driving people around and shit like that.
I definitely agree with that, and I would encourage that as well because I see the benefits of reading, just enhancing your vocabulary and being more knowledgeable about everything under the sun is beneficial in every conversation avenue you could possibly think of. If you want to be thought of as a educated person, just in anyone's light, you would want to be able to read something and be able to tell someone, okay, this is what I gather from that information or whatnot. I would like to read more myself. I see the benefit of it, but I'm not a sit still stationary person. I'm very, it's cliche to just label it ADHD, but those symptoms and those things I definitely do experience. I go to sleep within 30 minutes of starting to read some stuff. So it's like I try to do the audiobooks and things as well, but it's just not interesting enough. But I'll watch a documentary.
Well, here's another thing. Whatever you're reading has to be interesting enough to capture your attention.
Yes.
So, like me personally, I couldn't read or listen to like Lord of the Rings or some, Harry Potter or some shit like that. Like me, I like personal development stuff, so I read a lot of stuff on personal development, goal settings, that kind of stuff. And so, finding that stuff to read, I'll actually sit down and listen and read and listen to that stuff compared to anything else. So it's more or less finding your niche.
That's my thing. Like, I just recently purchased a herb encyclopedia and things like that. I'm really getting into health and trying to clean up my diet.
Okay.
But it's things that are applying to me and vitality. Books about just bad habits and just personal awareness and things like that. Trying to coach yourself out of bad habits and analyzing different traumas and shit like that. A lot of stuff is important, and I see that, I definitely need to dive deeper into this material. Fucking sitting there for a book or listening to it is just the death of me. I cannot do that. But I will, for a grade, for a paper, for cramming for the sake of just a grade, as I said. I will cram a book. I will read a book and force myself through it, and then I'll be happy that I did accomplish it, but then it's just like, not another book for 3 or 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
The average person, I guess, reads 0 books in a year. If you can believe that.
Yeah, I can believe that. And it's unfortunate
because, like, I can't honestly say I've never sat down and read a book and finished it, unless it was in high school.
Yeah.
Obviously you're forced to read the books in high school, but I don't think I've ever picked the book out and say, you know what, I'm gonna read this thing from cover to cover in a month, week, whatever. And I've never done it.
I start out with those strong intentions, but dude, I'll get 60 pages in, 80 pages into a 200-page book, bro, and just be done, and just never come back to it. And it's just like, damn it, finish the book, bro. You're halfway done. I read Sun Tzu. I read the Art of War. Okay. That was great.
Okay.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay. Those little self-help books and shit like that.
Okay. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to just be self-analytical or just apply towards a business mindset, very advantageous to read that material. But
I read the first one.
Sitting down through it, I don't know how I found the courage.
I read the first one Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
And then I found out there was like a trilogy.
More than one?
Yeah. So I read the next one, and then I read the next one.
Yeah.
And I think I'm on there's like 2 or 3 other more books to it.
Yeah.
So I got to read all the other ones. But most definitely, I recommend the first one, but the Cash Flow Quadrant is the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rich Dad's Guide to Investing is the third one. Obviously, you have to read them in order to understand them.
Yeah.
But most definitely, that third one, oh, dude.
Yeah.
It'll most definitely bump your financial IQ
Yeah.
tremendously.
See, now you just put something on the list.
Yeah.
I gotta work that into the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Education-wise, I would most definitely, I guess, tell people to go into investing, because I read the books, obviously, go into investing more than finding a career. Because most people try to find, a nice kosher career, sit around, to retire from, blah this and blah that. I would most definitely promote more investing than actually, learning about a career. Then again, I mean, we don't need doctors, we need lawyers and all that other stuff. So, I mean, obviously those are good careers. But
you just open your eyes to the possibilities of investing, because I was totally shut off from it until probably my mid-20s. I just never considered it. No one in my inner circles, my personal circles, talked investing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a social restriction. I had to branch out and seek that knowledge. I had to seek those people that were actively investing and be coachable, be teachable, be humble, say, I don't know anything. Can you tell me what this means? Get familiar with the jargon. I got involved with investing, probably about 2018, 2017 or so. And it was cool. A few, not major loss at all. But I'm probably only invested maybe $500 to $1,000 and probably made $3,500 off of that.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, cool. Exactly. I was cool with just starting out and trying and seeing what I could do. So I was like, all right, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not crying about it. You know what I'm saying? So definitely feeling better about diving into that world and being more knowledgeable about it with firsthand experience, rather than someone telling me, this is a good idea, this is a great idea, you should definitely invest in this. Now, I've actually been in that field. I actually see how stocks move and different flows of money. I've observed the market for a year's time. I've seen how things fluctuate. It's like, okay, now I can not be so gullible in conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely grateful for that experience as well.
What's a subject that you feel like you need more education on? I feel like my basics. I don't know where the hell I was, where my mind was when it comes to basics. Like just early.
What do you?
Like just early, like mathematics, early, literature, stuff like that. I don't know where. I think I was playing The Adventures of Watchy. Where I would take my watch off and play with my coloring.
I'm thinking this is a literal game. Okay.
No. This is a game I made up in school. Like I play around.
Possible.
So when people tell me to ask, how you spell this basic word? I'm like, ask Google, dog. I don't know.
Though?
Yeah,
that. I was very studious because I wanted to stay out of trouble. And for me, getting in trouble at school was a whooping at home. So in order to alleviate that, I needed to pay attention in class, get good grades, and be quiet. I fucking was good at spelling, great at spelling, phenomenal at math and shit like that.
I remember,
but I was just a good test taker. I was a crammer. Like I said, I hated reading, so I never read anything with enthusiasm or passion. But I could cram a week or two before and retain the information. I could regurgitate it, fill in a goddamn Scantron. That was cool for me. But sitting down and dedicating that time, and I think this would be my worst subject, would just be someone to teach me some discipline, some type of routine or scheduled repetition to where I have to be on time for something other than work. Because work is the only routine that I have now, and that's because of finance. You definitely want to be there to make the money. You got to be there on schedule of whatever the job demands. So that's the only routine for me. And I want to get more consistent with working out and eating and preparing meals for myself, but it's working on it. It's a work in progress. So definitely I would say discipline and routine. It's my weak spot.
I can most definitely relate to the discipline aspect of it.
Yeah.
When I got home from school, you know, it was playing around, playing video games, watching Dragon Ball Z shit for me. You know what I mean? So I'd get homework and then do it like literally 5-10 minutes before school started. When I got in high school, here's the funny part. When I got in high school, obviously you had multiple classes. So I'll do my homework for this class in another class and do my homework for that.
I gradually grew to that.
into another class. You know what I mean? I want to say through all of high school, I never actually took any homework home.
Damn.
Did it at home.
Damn.
But then again, we wasn't really an accredited school, so Wyandotte County. So it's like, you know, what are they really teaching us? Yeah, what are they really teaching?
I was surprised they gave y'all motherfuckers laptops. I was like, damn.
No, dude, I graduated.
They sent y'all home with laptops? Okay.
I graduated
They don't know
the
who they
year.
fucking with.
I graduated the year before they did that shit, man.
Dog, they did that shit, and I heard about, you know, I know teachers and all kinds of shit. They were talking about how the motherfucking laptops were at the pawn shop and different places and shit. Parents were using the laptops to look for jobs.
Oh, man. Yeah,
it was a lot.
Yeah, that was really bad.
But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I would say social studies was a class that I soared in that I did not care about.
Social studies was cool for me.
I didn't understand what was the whole purpose of social studies. Like, what? I mean, is that a history class?
For me, I didn't travel much as a kid, so just learning it or hearing about a foreign place just was like, okay, that's just something to bookmark, something to do later type shit.
You hear about other governments and how they do shit. It's like, why the hell are we not doing the same shit that they're doing?
In more depth in our motherfucking educational system with our government.
It's really bad.
Yeah,
it was really bad.
People are turning towards the homeschooling. I'm hearing my son is 3 now, so it's like, what the fuck do I do? But
I hear homeschooling is good if you know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to have the time to do it and dedicate to it. But we'll see how it goes.
I guess there are some perks in homeschooling, right? Because I don't know. I think there's like certain tax write-offs or something you could do when you homeschool.
I don't know anyone that's on that road right now personally, so I can't speak yay or nay. But I just hear that that's trending.
Okay.
Yeah. Me, I'm trying, as far as like building the routine and the discipline, man, I'm enrolling my son in as much activities as he will tolerate. Him only being 3, man, we've tried karate. And
how'd that go?
That was short-lived. He went for about 3 weeks.
He got kicked in the face, didn't he?
No, not at all, bro. They don't do anything too aggressive like that.
He kicked somebody else in the face.
They don't do anything too aggressive like that, but he just couldn't stay still enough. He was right at maybe 3 in 3 months. And he was the youngest one in his class. One of the youngest in his class.
He's ready to
and he's just bouncing around, just hard to sit there and pay attention. It was only a 30-minute class, and he did good. He did great for the first 20 minutes. That last 10, bro, he'd be faced the other direction while the teacher is teaching. Like, literally. They be like, buddy, can you turn around? Can you turn around? Can you sit, do a karate sit or a karate stance? And my baby about 5 seconds late on it, looking over this way, not paying attention to you. He's done with 20 minutes of the class. So we gave that a shot, but then we did daycare as well this summer. And the last part of the school year for them, the summer part of it, spring, I guess, semester. We did daycare for him, and that created a class schedule and things like that. And they teach him his name and identifying days of the week, months, numbers, shapes, all that type of thing. So definitely enriching that and going to build on that. Want to get him in soccer and some other things here for the summer coming up, but doing that because I definitely didn't do that or partake in that. No extracurricular shit when I was a child, and I think that's why I'm so bad off now in the discipline category, because I didn't do the team shit. I didn't do the team sports or the traveling with the school on orchestra. We did string stuff. I just didn't do all that.
So Nick does summer school.
Yeah.
even though he doesn't have to take summer school. He
Okay,
goes
it's
to
not bad,
he
though.
goes to summer school for fun, and I
That's
guess
good.
his mom has the idea of like it'll give him the bigger jump on the
Yeah,
next school year
hopefully.
and things in that nature and all that other stuff.
Hopefully.
And in my thinking, I'm like, well, you should still enjoy being a kid, so fuck that summer
Absolutely.
school bullshit. But I'm thinking, nah, you shouldn't think like that, because then I'm the one that has
You
to take
gotta
him to
have your
school.
balance.
Yeah, I know, man.
You
But
gotta
then at the
have
same
your
time, it
balance.
does keep him that discipline of like, hey, you gotta go to bed now. You can't play video games all night because you gotta go to school tomorrow. Type
Yeah.
shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
And me, I didn't even have that. Like, I could play video games for pretty much as long as I wanted and shit like that. Like, the little things you didn't think were important as a kid, you're like, God damn, okay, now I got to start working on this with him.
that's exactly
Like, bro,
how
I
it is.
was allowed to just sit there and just play the video games. And it's like, damn, okay.
What did you go for college, or what did you do for college?
Right after school, I took maybe a year off for 18, and I just worked. And I actually got a scholarship to KU for civil engineering,
Okay.
but I was late on applying and registering and trying to get
Yeah.
housing and FAFSA and shit like that because I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have anyone advising me on what to
help you
do
out.
or even looking at the paperwork, telling me of how a loan works and shit like that, interest rates. I had no one for that input. I got both my parents, but my parents didn't go to college.
And the thing
so-
is, if you go to an advisor,
yeah.
the advisor's like, okay, what do you want to do? And you go to the advisor like, I'm
Right.
going to you to ask what to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, look
It's
at my
like,
grades or some
okay,
shit.
as far as career path,
You know?
I want this, and it's like, okay, well, take these classes type shit, but it's
It's like, hey, I want to be an astronaut. It's like, how much money you got? I got this. Okay, you could be a janitor. You know what I mean?
for me is identifying the classes and prerequisites that you can take and what you can manage with your budget type shit. But me being an ill-advised kid, I was 19, I was working for myself, so I was paying for my own bills and things like that, so I felt a little independent. But like I said, I didn't have that guidance of, hey, my parents came from down that road, or they've been down that road, they can tell me where to apply for the loans at, what to do for housing shit, when should I get started on this paperwork. They had no input on that. They were happy and excited that I was going to school somewhat, but it was a soft clap.
Yeah.
I'll say it was a soft clap. It was like, okay, well, cool. When you decide, let us know. It was totally in my hands type shit.
It's weird how, like, before school, whatever, your parents have some sort of hand on your schooling and everything else.
Oh yeah,
blah,
they're
blah,
determined to get you through it. They
Yeah,
want
but
to get
then
you through
right
that 12.
afterwards, it's like they
After
disappeared.
that 12,
yeah, it's non-existent.
just for that generation, I'll say, because I don't notice it with different friends of mine in my peer group. But being us black folk in Kansas City, it was, for me, I watched my cousins start working, make enough money to start getting their own place and their own car, and then it was definitely get up out the house with mom and dad because mom and dad be tripping on this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So then I was only 5 or 6 years from them, my older cousin group. So when I started coming up teenage years and shit, my mom be tripping about the dishes or cleaning up or this, that, the other shit. And you be like, bro, I'm barely here. I only do this type shit. You be like, okay, I get the importance, but am I doing all this type shit? Or is it you want me to just do all this shit, maintain this shit, so you ain't got to do it no more type shit. So it's like, okay. You just be thinking that in your young child head. But then you do all that shit and you just be like, all right, I should be getting some type of leniency with workload. I have school and this, that, the other. And nah, it's still bulldog orders. You got to do this, you got to clean that. Why is this not done? And like, I grew up with my mom and she was very... I grew up primarily with my mom. I saw my dad on the weekends and in the summer mostly. But with mom, she was very nitpicky on everything in the motherfucking house. So the house had to be perfect and spotless type shit. In order, in her order, how she liked it. You get used to that shit and you get used to just expecting the damn argument or the cussing out or the confrontation when she gets home about something not being right, carpet's not vacuumed, or something. So, you know, you after going through that and you're a teenager, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I can't wait till 18, whatever the damn age limit is for yourself. Whenever I can get my car, whenever I can get my place, whenever I can get the fuck up out of here, because this shit drives me crazy. And that's just the mentality. Not let me get the education or let me build up the savings or the finances or let me do this before, you know, I'm ready to take that leap out into independence of adulthood. It's just shit. Let me get the separation from going nuts with my mom, dad, and whoever driving me nuts at home. And I think that kind of ill prepared a motherfucker to jump out into the world because successfully, well, fortunately, I haven't had to move back in with my parents as some people have, but you definitely hustle and struggle and strive through the damn shit. Like your homelessness, your restless nights, you're working endless hours, the sleep deprivation, the fatigue. Yeah, it's hard as fuck when you start off with a little bit of debt and you only make a few fucking dollars back in, shit, this was 09?
Yep, back in there.
2010 type shit. You're only making a few dollars, and even at full time, only a few. So trying to balance everything and maintain everything and keep a budget as a 20-year-old and shit like that. It's just a lot to deal. You know what I'm saying?
Education is gone.
So education is very important. And then looking back at it, it's like I wish I would have more aggressively attacked college because then I would have had some type of backing to kind of boost my dollar amount, my dollar per hour, just within the 4-year or 2-year degree, whatever I decided to pursue.
It's absolutely crazy, like back then.
Yeah.
That you needed to have a degree to make big money.
Oh yes.
Like now,
but that was the paradigm. That was the thinking back then. Now with all this possibility and this internet money, it's just like
you'd be at a job for 5 years
you need
and
a
still
job,
make the same
or
amount of
you can make your
money
own job, or you can start making fucking necklaces. It doesn't matter. You can start making anything, man. You got a business, so it's like I'm glad for that because it gives so many more people opportunity at finances and riches and wealth because there were so many gates I feel to go through with traditional thinking in the go to school, go to college, get a degree mentality. You got to get the degree first. You got to pay the debt first or have the parents that already paid for it first. So it's a lot. It's overwhelming for me when I was in those shoes. So I would say don't be intimidated, but definitely do the due diligence of investigation. Find out what you need to do and when you need to do it. Get familiar with your deadlines and shit like that. But definitely keep it as a continual thing. Keep learning in your career current. Keep learning about yourself. Self-awareness is very important. I'm coming to find out and being a husband and a father because my well-being affects 2 other people now. It's not just me out there in an apartment by myself as it was when I was 20 and young and just being not reckless, but just being concerned about myself. Definitely be more self-aware and educate yourself about health, digestion, preparing food, growing food, because a lot of people are growing their own produce and things of that nature. I've just spent a little time in the cultivation of weed, so a lot of people are cultivating their own produce at the same time, more that you would even expect once you get into that field of, I know people that actually farm. You're like, oh goddamn, so many people are involved with this shit that I didn't even assume or would think that I wouldn't think that they would think this is interesting or be involved with it in any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? I met a lot of older guys and a lot of young people involved with growing produce and growing weed. I was like very astounded.
I would most definitely say one of the biggest advantages is learning how to run a business. Not so much as going into business for yourself, but learning how to run a business just to understand how your business works or how your career, your employment works. Just in the in the workforce that you're in.
What goes into a dollar amount?
Yeah, just understanding how that
yeah.
works
Yes.
would most definitely excel your education a lot further.
Yes,
than anything
it'll
else.
teach you what to aim for.
Yeah,
It teach you to save you some time in going through a lot of bullshit.
yeah,
Save you some time and
Yeah.
staying at places that may be a dead end and you identify as a dead end, but you stay there because of the paycheck or this, that, the
Yeah.
other factors.
yeah.
So definitely just, keep your eyes open for advancement and don't be afraid to take that leap, man. Take a leap on, hey, I know there's better for me. I know that I can be doing more. I know that I can achieve higher. If you're familiar with your surroundings and your settings, that's cool. You're comfortable with it, but how can you push it? How can you take this to the next level of importance or gain the next accolades in your field? The best this, the best pizza, the best design, the best structure, whatever it may be, but always be trying to grow and push your limits
Yeah,
with education backing that.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead and cut it off there. Kyle Stanley giving you words of knowledge again on another episode of Real Talk with Real Men. My co-host Kyle, me, James. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good night. What's new? What is it?
Nothing really, man.
Man, you look too deep in thought.
I am a little
Shit.
deep in thought. I am a little deep in thought.
Well, shit. I soon will be transitioning. I just landed another job opportunity.
Another one.
Yes.
Another one.
Yes.
Another one.
Pay increase and one more day off.
Really?
It's going to a 12-hour shift swing.
Okay. Doing the
And
same
it'll be-
thing or doing something
Yes,
different?
doing the same thing, but I'll be driving.
Oh, driving.
So it'll be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. or 5 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, that's not bad.
So yeah, I'm actually excited about that because that gives me 4 days during the week to work on business shit and the baby shit, like doing my daycare shit and things like
Okay.
that, like availability to go to the park and all kind of stuff now. I still don't have Sunday off to go to brunch, which is killing my soul. But Sunday brunch, bro, I miss it.
You can go
but
to
it's
brunch
cool.
on Mondays, man.
I'll be working Monday as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not. I will say this: brunch on Sundays
it's
is not
lit.
it's not as lit, or it's not as lit on the weekdays as it is on Sundays.
Yeah,
For whatever reason.
When it's the vibe, that's when it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. You're with other couples and stuff. You be eating your scrambled eggs. You like,
Right. And a lot of more people are, I guess, re-innovating or revitalizing their brunch programs, and new food, new flavors, new ingredients are coming about, and fucking
Oh, dude.
music and DJs.
So last time we were
Like-
talking about that biscuit place I was telling you about.
Which one?
I think it was last episode. We were talking about brunch. We were talking about Waffle House and shit like that. And there was a
Yes.
place. Rise is the name of the place.
Rise.
It has these blueberry.
Rise.
Rise.
Yes.
It has the blueberry biscuits and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hell that is, but my wife got me some of that.
So on 135th Street, over there by the Snooze,
Okay.
on 135th and Metcalf.
I just passed this shit.
Yeah,
okay.
man. So you
'Cause I was
driving-
just looking at the snooze sign right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's in that little nook of
Yeah.
places, but it's more south next to Chipotle,
Okay.
and they got some biscuit and gravy that's pretty good too.
God damn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was impressed with the biscuit, and I didn't know where the hell it was from, but she said Rise, and I saw the paper, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, that's the name. of it.
yeah, that is nice. We're trying to make our way to this place called Munchers in Lawrence.
Oh,
She has
Lawrence.
a friend out in Lawrence, and we make a visit out there, kick it with them on the weekends and shit, do a little drinking, and I definitely want to, because they're open late. Supposed to be open till like 2 in the morning on the weekends, so yeah, definitely want to try them out. Besides that shit, the job transition
Mhm.
and the free time.
Okay. I'm trying to finish my documentary on my
Yeah.
homelessness, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 2.5. It's going about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
2.5 hour documentary.
Okay.
That's
and
it.
my wife, we were checking it out and shit, and we were scoping through everything that was on the channel and shit.
there you
That's why
go.
I was like, well, damn, I didn't see the list and everything. I thought it would be like an episode list. So I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Check the actual Associate Productions website.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, dude, this shit is exciting. And then like watching it with her, it's just like, God damn.
I
like,
can't believe you said that about my.
Nah, hell no. But motherfucker, being careful with what you say.
Uh-huh.
But goddamn, just watching yourself on TV when that used to be such a far shot, the long shot of a dream for someone. Such a, or just 10, 15 years ago when we were in teenage years. You like, how long will it take for a motherfucker to get seen and noticed and put on TV? And now you're on a fucking streaming app on TV, bro. Like, your people can watch you. You know what I'm saying? You can get on this shit and your content is instantly there when you're the controller. Your content is instantly there for whoever to watch. Like, that is so fucking phenomenal. That's what I'm saying. Like, being education oriented and enthused about education, to go and resource these things, go and find out about this shit, and then get involved. Like, people from old to young benefit from this shit because there's so many stories to be told. And putting that much content out and inspiring someone, because this shit is going to inspire the next person to carry the torch even further.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, how much shit, how much
It's pretty easy.
beautiful can it, how much more beautiful can it get?
It's pretty easy to get your own channel.
Yeah.
Like, I literally just talked to a company in California, and they did it in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only takes them about a week and a half to, I guess, get it going or whatever. But yeah, not hard at all.
The world we live in today.
Yeah, no. 10 years ago, this was, actually, let's say 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because 10 years ago, you can get your ass on YouTube.
Bro,
10 years ago.
YouTube,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? This is YouTube, but at the same time, it's like you had to do something wild, hit somebody in the dick, or slap somebody, or
throw a shovel at
almost
somebody,
get shot, or
throw a
you know what I'm
shovel at
saying?
somebody.
Wreck a car or some bullshit, wreck a motorcycle, do a you had to be entertaining somewhat. Now it's like, okay, you I know so many people that just write comic books, bro. It's like, bro, these motherfuckers can start illustrating and doing all this type shit and just run with it. Run with it.
That easy.
It's amazing to watch. Like, I'm inspired by other people being good at what they do. So just seeing people be a master in their craft, I'm just like, hell yeah, that makes me work harder on my shit. So it's just like, yeah, I love seeing all that shit, scoping through your shit. I love it.
It is amazing. It actually is pretty cool.
Yes, dude, it is.
It's not as cool as it is now a year ago, but it's still pretty cool.
It is, bro. It is.
When I finish the documentary, it'll be the first official documentary on Associates Productions on the channel. Because I haven't done any full movies or anything on the channel yet, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to get that going.
I remember watching one of your movies, and you were in, I want to say, an apartment with it. And it was you and a girl. I forget the name of it.
Oh, you talk about Pillow
like,
Talk.
Yes, I was like, I was so blown. I was like, this motherfucker is making movies, bro. This motherfucker wrote this and made this fucking movie. I was like, dog.
Where did you watch that?
Huh?
Where did you watch that? Because it didn't stay on Facebook long.
It had to have been Facebook, bro.
I know I put it on Facebook like long time ago. Long time ago.
Yeah, I hadn't have watched it there.
I actually need to redo that. I need to redo that.
But Doug, that was it. I was just like sold. I was just like, dude, my man is fucking working, and I like it.
Yeah, that was.
I'm glad that you're sticking with it and still doing.
Yeah, 'cause I did that 3 years ago, 2018.
Yes. Yeah,
that's a minute ago.
Do that shit, bro.
Man.
I've been a fan ever since.
That's what's up, man. That's my boy, man.